know why, but it seems like the places where the best lighting is are always literally the most uncomfortable places in your house. And it's in my bathroom, so welcome. Yeah. My name is filcofilms. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome as well. Please do subscribe. In this video, I will be talking about something that has baffled me for a while, for pretty much my whole life, because when I speak to my parents versus when I speak to people that I know, I have a lot of communication issues. My parents tend to not understand certain words that I use, and that is because in Italian, the words just don't exist. We'll be talking about the 10 English words that I figure don't actually exist in Italian that I have personally had most trouble with. And these are all words that I use on a day-to-day basis in everyday conversation. It's not like these weird long words that nobody uses. These are super relatable words. Now the first one on my list that I've got is the word weird. I use the word weird all the time to describe people, things. We don't have a word for weird. The closest that we have is strano, which translates to strange, but as you know, strange and weird don't exactly mean the same thing. Weird is strange, but to me it has more of a meaning like could be in the ordinary, but it's just a bit off. Does that make sense? I hope that's a good translation. I feel like I did a good job with that one. The second word that I've got on this list is the word awkward. And I use this word all the time. Awkward can just be used in so many different ways. That's an awkward thing. This is an awkward situation. The way someone moves can be awkward. Like everything can be awkward. And there is literally no translation for this. You have to use a sentence to explain it. If somebody's socially awkward, you would say they're socially incapable. But it just doesn't translate. And there's probably better words for this. My Italian isn't as good as it should be. But if you know, let me know. I genuinely can't think of any for the life of me. Third word, and I genuinely don't know why this is not a thing. Every language that I can think of has a word for this, and that's the word cheap. Something is expensive and something is cheap. We don't have that word. The closest that we have is the word economic, and economic in English usually doesn't relate directly to that meaning, but it can mean that. Something is economic, it's not expensive. And that's the word you have to use in Italian. You have to say that's economico, or you could say not expensive, which is usually what people go to. Non costa molto, which means it doesn't cost a lot, or non è costoso. It's a tough one, not having the word cheap, and I never really thought of it because you don't notice it until someone points it out, because you're so used to saying, oh, that doesn't cost a lot, that's not bad, but the word cheap actually just doesn't exist. The fourth word I have on this list is random. Random is also a word that I use pretty often. This is really random, but I have to tell you this. That was a random song, as in something that's just not meant to be there. I feel like all these words tend to go towards the strange aspect, like something is strange or out of place. I have to Google this because I don't actually... I was right, it actually doesn't have a translation. The closest it comes up with is casual, which is not at all what it means. I don't even know how to explain that one. Something that's random is something that it's the opposite of being uniform. It's random, it's scattered. It has a lot of meanings and you use it in everyday conversation, but like if you can explain it, just do it, because I don't know. The fifth word is whatever. Whatever. We use this all the time. In Italian, I think the closest that we come to this word is è quello che è, or it is what it is, like it's whatever. But you have different words to describe different situations, and I think the issue is whatever can be for anything. It can be when someone does something differently to what you asked them to do, you would say, oh, okay, whatever. It can be, do you want this or do you want this? And you can say, oh, whatever is fine. In that situation, you could say qualsiasi, which literally means whichever, but that's when you're having to pick between two things, so whatever the other way doesn't really have a translation, if that makes sense. Number 6, we have awesome. That's awesome. This is awesome. I use this word all the time because it's just such an awesome word. Like awesome could be cool, it could be something that I'm happy with. This is awesome. You're awesome means you're a cool person, but it doesn't have a word that describes it. I feel like this video is meant to provide like some sort of solution, but I don't have any. I'm just stating that we genuinely don't have words for this. This is number 7, the word sketchy. Now sketchy is in English not what most Italians probably think it is, because sketchy comes from like literally means sketching. Something is, but is it like, could you say it like that? I don't think so. So sketchy is when basically something is not right. I feel like if you're going into a sketchy place, that means that the place just makes you feel uncomfortable, and if it makes you feel like it's dangerous, that's a sketchy place, I don't want to be near that. Or somebody looks sketchy, it means that they're probably up to no good. You'd probably just say dangerous, or just say untrustworthy, but you wouldn't really, you can't say sketchy. Number 8 is hangover. When you get drunk, when you go out at night, you get hungover the next morning. I am so hungover. Do you have a hangover? Which doesn't really make sense in itself. Hanging over just means you're hanging over, but you know, when you're hungover, I guess you like lay down and slouch. Is that where it comes from? I don't know. But in Italian, we don't have that. I think the closest that we have to that is like dopo sbronza, which means after drunk. It's not as widely used. You don't say, oh, I'm so hungover. You can't say that. I'm so dopo sbronzato. I feel like you're missing a lot, because how many times do people say, oh, I'm hungover today, I'm so hungover, I can't get this done? How can you not have that word? That's insane to me. But it's also true that in my previous video, I did say Italians don't like to get drunk, just tipsy or brilli. And you have to check that video out if you haven't seen it. It's gonna be up here or up there somewhere. The 9th word is privacy. And this is a weird one just because the word privacy, we literally say in Italian, privacy, and it means the same thing. So if you go to Italy and you tell someone the word privacy, they will know exactly what you mean, because everybody uses this word. People will know what I mean when I say privacy, but there's no actual Italian word for it. And I don't even know how we spell it. I don't know if we spell it the English way or if we have our own spelling for it. I'll have to look that up. Now the very last one, number 10, is just a set of words. In English we have the words before and earlier and after and later, but in Italian those merge together. So we have before or earlier, which become prima, and then we have the words after or later, which becomes dopo. And this is why a lot of Italians who try to learn English mix them up. Let me just give an example. Why didn't you come earlier would imply, why are you here now and not at an earlier time? But if you said, why didn't you arrive before, then it becomes different, because that means, why didn't you come prior to doing something else? So people would ask, before what? Before implies that you were doing something else prior to doing this. Does that kind of make sense? And it's the same with after and later. I'll do that later means I'm gonna do it at a later time, at a time further away from this one. But I'll do it after implies I will do it at a later time, which involves me completing something else before. I'm so sorry, I'm dragging this on way too much, you get the point. So there's so many words that exist in English that don't exist in Italian, and vice versa. And if you guys enjoy this video, I'll probably make that one as well. But if you enjoyed this video, please do leave it a like, leave it a comment if you have any translations that are better than mine, which is almost 100% certain that you do. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is filcofilms, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.